welcome to the latest edition of Schmoedown Night in Canada. Here covering today's two matches is myself, your friendly neighborhood soda, and my man Daniel. How you doing, Daniel?
Hey, hey, not so bad yourself.
I can't complain. Just had dinner with a good friend. Everything's going millhouse,
Mm,
as they say.
good, good.
So we're going to be covering two matches today because it is at this point going to be a jam-packed tournament. We are going to be
hmm
covering Frank Moran versus James White and Bonnie Somerville versus Marisol McKees. So what do you think of
Yeah,
the matches there, Daniel?
uh, pretty good overall. I'm excited that we're seeing some rookie play and everything. That's been a little while since we've had that.
Yeah, no, it was definitely great to see some rookies come out. And one veteran who, as Shannon puts it, plays like a rookie. And after watching this match, I have to agree. I have to agree with her.
Yeah, like I actually have it in my notes, and we'll get into it when we get to that match. I have some
No
thoughts on it.
worries.
Yeah.
Okay, so you
So
just want to hop her straight into it then?
yeah. We might as well get into the first match.
Okay,
Swag
take it
versus the
away.
Den.
Mm-hmm.
We have Frank Moran, Frank Bam Bam Moran. That's a
I
great
love that nickname.
moniker. Yeah,
That is a great nickname. Yeah.
and his promo totally sold it too.
Mm-hmm.
And then against James the Wizard White, which is another one that I really like because I'm kind of I mentioned it in the comment section today. I'm a sucker for some alliteration, you know?
Nice, nice. So,
It's
what is
like
the back? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, I was gonna say like those ones, the ones that like match a syllable or a letter in the
Mm.
player's name, first or last, and the pun ones. Those are great too. Just
Yeah,
any
when I was in high school, one of my English teachers nicknamed me Motor Mouth Matt, so I have a history with alliteration.
yeah. Okay, so
So, could you just give me a little bit of background on these two players? Because this was my first time seeing them in action. I do know James White comes from the
yeah,
fan leagues. What about Frank Moran? Where does he come from?
uh, Frank Moran actually comes from the Schmoedown. He's been around. He's played in Free for All 2, I believe it was. And
Oh,
he also yeah, he played a couple of rounds. And then there was also he was on a team at one point. I cannot remember the name of it though. Back in I it might have been like the teams tournament.
okay then. Well, that just
Yeah.
shows how bad my memory is.
And yeah, so and James White does come from the fan leagues, I believe, and has played a good number of matches and seemed very confident too. He seems like a pretty good player. He's got a tough match ahead of him, but which is
Yeah,
spoiling the match a little bit.
I want to ask you: do you think he was overhyped coming in?
Mm, yes and no. Like, um, I I don't think it was wise to take him in the second round, but to acquire him in a trade around the free agency time was a good move. Like he
Yeah.
was a quality like prospect, right? But he's not he's not an established player yet anyway.
Hmm. Yeah, I have to agree. Oh, excuse me.
And
Him
so
going
yeah,
in the second
we get
round
into
was not a good
round
idea.
one. Yeah. Mm. We get into round one, and he actually misses a couple of questions.
Hmm.
It After round one, it's 6-4 for Frank.
Yeah,
What
it
did you
was
think of
a
the round one?
it was a pretty decent showing on both guys' part. I thought James, being his first official Schmoedown match, I thought he did respectable. It was nothing to go to sing home about, but it was a pretty decent first round. It really showed what kind of players they are.
hmm Yeah, and yeah, they both seemed like pretty good. They they weren't lacking in knowledge of the game. They both like the questions they missed. They just either couldn't pull it or didn't know that movie.
Yeah.
It's fair.
Um.
And
So, just
yeah,
quick question for you. One of the things I saw going around was that the first round set of questions was on par with what you would see in a celebrity match. Do you agree that the questions were a little too easy?
I don't think so. I I knew a couple of them, but like
Mm.
I'm not the best like singles or teams judge either, because uh, yeah, my focus is a little bit more inner geekdom,
Okay, fair enough.
which comes a little more disappointing later when James White spins away from comic book movies.
Yeah, yeah. No, fair enough. For me, I thought it was the right set for these two players. Now, if it was
Mhm.
like more seasoned players, I would say yes, those were way too easy. But for these two guys, I thought it was just what they needed.
And yeah, like especially you can't say the questions were too easy when one guy missed four of them and one guy missed two of them. Like
Yeah, yeah, and you know what? A lot of
25% or 50% of them were missed, depending on which player you want to take.
yeah, and it's one of those things. It's just like it's easy for us to sit at home watching and say, "Oh, those questions were easy." Most of us haven't competed in a match, so it's a little different when the
Yeah,
lights are on,
exactly.
right? Yeah.
And yeah, so we get into round two. Frank decides to spin first, which is probably a smart move in singles.
Yeah.
That wheel was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I kind of like the
He
color
spins
scheme of
he
it.
spins horror.
Mm.
Yeah. Um, I still like the teams one. It's very elegant. But the singles one, like the red and yellow, is growing on me.
Yeah, I'm a kind of a sucker for red and any combination of color with it.
Mm.
That's just me.
I mean, I can't really complain about red and yellow when my hat.
Yep, go
um,
Flash. Sidebar: who's your favorite Flash?
uh, it's really hard to pick, but I think I would go with Wally.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
I'm a Wally guy myself. Okay, back to round number
And
two.
I mean, of any of the speedsters, it would be Bart Allen. But yeah, we're a little tangential here.
Yeah, just a little
Um,
bit.
yeah, he spins horror, doesn't seem to like it very much, and respins. And what did you think of him jinxing himself in that moment?
I thought it was pretty damn funny. I thought it was pretty funny. I kind of wish he'd reacted like he said he was going to, but it is what it is. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
that's an interesting category to spin.
and yeah, he spins Francis McDormand
Yeah.
after saying it's the one thing he did not want to spin right now, and he scores 4 points. He scores half of them.
He did okay. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, and he answered three of the questions, so he like eliminated his opponent scoring a bunch of them.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then he gives up 1 point to James White, so it's
Mhm.
10-5 after his spin, and then James White comes in. Oh, I totally forgot to mention the Grace referring to herself as Cersei Lannister in the beginning of this match,
Yeah.
and Christian's reaction made me kind of think that he hadn't thought of that yet, and I like thought of it so long ago, and I've always just thought of her as the Cersei, and I think it's great.
Oh yeah. It's it's a very apt comparison. I don't think I've ever heard anybody compared to a fictional character as perfect as that.
Yeah, and to be fair, like she keeps putting together a great scheme and a great faction, then some
Mhm.
other manager gets involved and everything crashes and burns, but she just walks away and starts
Yeah.
anew.
Yeah.
It's
Oh
it's
yeah.
pretty great.
Yeah. And she's definitely got the sass to back it up. That's for damn
Yeah,
sure.
success in the present and destruction in her wake. So who
Yeah.
cares?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so James spins comic book movies and decides he's confident in it, but likes a couple more things on the wheel. And he
Yep.
spins Nora Ephron.
Yeah.
Oof.
That
Yeah.
I personally, I would have out of the two, I would have gone comic book movies
Oh
because I'm
yeah,
not
definitely.
outside of a couple of movies of Nora Ephron's. I'm not overly familiar. Like I've
Mm,
seen Sleepless in Seattle, I've seen When Harry Met Sally, and maybe like one or two more, but that was
yeah.
about it.
I knew only the Sleepless in Seattle question, and I'm not even sure I've seen the movie. I just know that scene because it's been
It's an
homaged to
iconic
so many
scene.
times in other things.
Yeah, it's a very iconic scene, very
Mm,
iconic scene. And I knew the Harry Met Sally one because that movie is just it's so good. If I were to
yeah.
recommend a movie, I would recommend watching that one.
And yeah, so he only gets 3 points on two of the questions and
Yeah,
gives up three in steals. And so going into round three, Frank is up 13-8, a 5 point lead, which he
yeah,
had going into James's spin anyway.
yeah. Whenever you see someone come in to the round three with like a 4 to 6 point deficit, it's really hard
Yeah,
for someone to come back from that. It really is. Not
it
saying it can't
is.
be done,
And
but it's hard.
I mean, evidently it can be done
Yeah,
because James answers all three of his questions in the third round, and
yeah.
Frank only manages to hit his two.
What do you think of James's pull on the 5 pointer?
Mm,
Like, you think
it,
that was like just
yeah, what
luck?
was the question again? I
Oh, I just watched the match earlier today, and I
Yeah,
totally forgot about it. But I do know he had to go. He had used all of his JTE rules on that
yeah,
one.
oh yeah, that was
Yeah,
pretty insane.
yeah. No,
Actually,
those.
both the 5 pointers that were answered in these matches were
Hmm.
impressive.
Yeah,
We'll
no,
get to
no
the other
doubt.
one later
Yeah, no doubt.
because Frank doesn't answer enough questions. He doesn't get TKO'd, which is very
Yeah,
good. And um well, I mean, James doesn't get TKO'd and nobody collects extra points, especially because the top of the standings is very, very close. I have
yes, it is.
I have a thing for that later too.
Yeah,
um, the Den moves up to 17 points with James White's win,
yeah.
um, and they trail. Well, we'll say they trail Swag by 14 points. All right, let's say that for now. Uh,
That's quite a difference there. Because remember, at one point, the Den was like in the top three.
Yeah, and advancing into the first round isn't necessarily um a like I'm not sure he got off lucky, you know,
Hmm.
because his opponent is Dan Murrell or John Roca, and
Yeah,
that is a tough hill to climb in your second match.
yeah. No kidding. You're
You're
practically facing Mount
oh
Rushmore.
wow, your second match, yeah.
Yeah,
Although if you win that match.
yeah. If that's what. Yeah, if he wins that match, his legacy is set, I guess.
Yeah,
But man, the
and
odds of him winning that, yeah, I don't like those odds.
I mean it can happen any given
Yeah,
Schmo day, right? And
yeah. You're not wrong. Like Merle could just have a horrible day. Yeah.
yeah,
I
and
mean, even the
so
Yankees lose every once in a while, right?
yeah, and yeah. Actually, since that's tomorrow's match, I guess. Who do you think between Merle and Roca is going to be in this bracket? Is Merle
Roca.
keeping his belt, or
Yeah, I got Merle
yeah?
keeping it. Yeah,
Me too. Me too.
yeah.
I'm not sure if one or both of the other guys have Dan dropping his belt, but I
Hmm.
don't think they're right. Match number two. Uh,
Oh yeah, a little bit of history going
yeah,
into this one.
we got Lady Justice, Marisol McKee, going up against Bonnie the Smoke Show Somerville.
Boy,
Corruption versus the Burning Droogs.
yeah, I will say this: Bonnie sure as shit lived up to her nickname in this match. Holy crap!
Oh, yeah. Oh, I mean, not to disparage Marisol because her promo was absolutely amazing.
Oh, for sure.
Like for a rookie to like, because again, you need to put some sort of package together
Yep.
because we're in such a digital age that like you can't just you can't really talk about players who don't have game tape, right?
Hmm.
So all they have is trash talk, I guess. And she brought some game.
She sure did. Now, is she another fan leaguer?
Yes. I was actually searching earlier, and I could find at least one match, but I only checked quickly, and um, I haven't seen any of her fan league matches. But I have heard that she's very talented and very capable, and she proved it a lot in this match.
Oh, for sure. She's
Going
definitely
8 questions in the first round.
yeah, perfect round. Yeah, she definitely showed her ability. But I was taken aback because, as well as I've said before, I've never really watched fan league matches, so I don't know anything about
Mm-hmm.
the fan leaguers. But no, I was very impressed. Thought her, I kind of thought her bonus question was a little easy, and I was surprised she missed that one. But
Mm-hmm.
overall, going 8 for 8 in the first round was pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, she goes 8, misses the bonus. Bonnie hits 5. That's not so bad either.
No.
Um, and yeah, so round 2. Oh, actually, I keep jumping into the first round before talking about like
Hmm.
all the trash talk that goes on before the match because um
Yeah.
like Christian loves to create drama
Oh, for sure.
because for like the first time ever, he brings on a competitor to talk to the opposing manager. And it
Oh, yeah.
was it was so fun.
Yeah, and it sounds like they were still getting into it after the match aired too, which was I didn't get a chance to look at it, but yeah, those are two sassy broads.
Yeah, yeah. And they were really going at each other and Bonnie is not impressed that she was dropped from corruption and Bonnie like she really she came with some real trivia knowledge to this match. Like
Yeah.
I think with a little more gameplay experience and I guess like a different faction, she might have been able to actually do something.
You know what I would do if I was Christian? I'd
Mm,
send her to the fan leagues.
mm. Although they're harder in some respects
Well,
because
not exactly, feed her to the lion's den, so to speak, but
mhm.
yeah, definitely, I think that would be a good way to get up more experience,
Well,
more,
yes, but
improve her
in
game.
in some ways, the fan leagues are actually more difficult because they have to kind of work around the questions that the Schmoedown is asking, and they
Oh,
try
really?
to they yeah because they try to stay a little different, you know. So
Okay.
you're not just hearing the same sort of question in any league that you're watching, and there are so many different fan leagues, and they kind of change the round structure and try to make it their own a little bit. It's very
Okay.
interesting, some of the ideas.
Hmm.
I really like one in particular, but I can't remember what it is. So
Oh, then he must
um,
not like it that much.
oh no, I don't remember which league it was. It was a round 3
Oh,
where you
okay.
got to kind of choose your point allocation on categories, and it was super cool.
Oh,
Like if you felt strong in this category, you bet your 4 points on that one, and yeah, it was sort of a betting round, and you got to place point values in different categories that you felt your strengths were, and you got
okay.
harder questions if you bet more. And yeah,
I
they
like
try
that.
to kind of nitpick movies in a different way from the movie trivia Schmoedown to keep an element of freshness to everything.
Yeah. And like the one match that I competed in, instead of like a round two spin the wheel sort of thing, is we had to
Hmm.
essentially we were given an actor and we had to one by one list
Yeah, yeah,
their
that was very
filmography.
interesting.
Yeah, and I got Jennifer Lawrence, and yeah, after a while, it's just like, oh crap.
Oh yeah, that would have helped you, and like you definitely answered one of Frank's questions earlier.
Oh yeah, oh yes, that's right, I
Yeah,
did. Yeah,
he had a question that was like name two uh like
yeah,
movies
she
other than which
Silver
one? I
Linings.
yes,
She
other
won
than
the Oscar
Silver
for Silver
Linings,
Lining.
name
Yeah,
two that she was nominated
nominated
for,
for
and
Winter's Bone and Joy. Joy, I
yeah,
couldn't pull because I couldn't remember the name of that movie. I remember the poster, I just couldn't remember the
I
name.
I actually don't even know what Joy is. I couldn't pull what was it? American
Hustle.
yeah, whichever one. There's a lot of American other word
Yeah,
movies. And
yeah,
I've seen some of them.
yeah.
So,
There's a lot to keep track
um
of.
to get back into this match instead of the last one, but we did kill some time, which is great. Uh we got Marisol spinning first and spins 2000s and about a millimeter away. That's what's that? Like a 16th of an inch? Yeah, let's
Yeah, about that.
because who knows what a millimeter is, right? Um yeah, she was so close to opponent's choice that I got very worried for a second
Oh
because
yeah.
that is the worst feeling for your first match to go so well in the first round and then get stuck with
Mm.
such a bad second round. But she does pretty well in
She
2000s.
does. And you know what? If she'd had gone opponent's choice, they could have given her one of her strengths because that's the thing, like you said earlier, there
Mm.
really isn't any game tape on her, right? So they don't know
Oh
what her
yeah,
weaknesses are. So
and
it
I
could have
I
worked.
think like they don't know what her strengths and weaknesses are, but I do believe the like opponent has access to the two slices you choose, but
Okay.
then that's they know their two, they know your two, and then the other six or eight, whatever it is, are chosen by the I don't know the crew in some way.
Okay.
I think it's the I think it might be the question writers, and they try and mess
Which would
with
make
people's
sense.
strengths specifically later on.
Yeah.
Once, yeah, they try to mix it up between people's strengths and their weaknesses and some middle what
Mm.
of the field. So she hits three of the four, two of them for 2 points. That was very impressive.
Yep.
She gets 1 point steal to Bonnie on an 8 mile question, which
Yeah.
like I I don't know that question was odd, but
How so?
I I don't know. It was just like um I thought it was weird because like I think one of the answers was a different person that he battled in the movie, and two
Okay.
were made up.
Fair enough. Like,
And
fair enough. I haven't seen the movie in a really long time, so I
yeah,
didn't know.
yeah, yeah. I knew the answer, but I also like was confused by the multiple choice.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, after round two or her round two, it's 13-6 for Marisol. 5 points for her, one for Bonnie.
Yeah.
Bonnie spins Tim Burton and
Ooh.
doesn't seem to be fond of that. So respins and grabs Meryl Streep, which I for all the chanting, I people don't spin Meryl Streep often. I think
Yeah,
it's
I
happened
don't.
twice this season, but I don't remember it happening often in the earlier years. Like,
Yeah, me neither. It's definitely one. It's kind of a joke at this point, but yeah, it's
mm.
been chanted more than it's been landed on.
And yeah, this was a rough round for Bonnie because
Mm.
I think she was struggling a bit and might have forgot that she has like multiple choice or like had the answers, but like couldn't remember what how to delay the game like everyone else does to
Yeah,
really get your answer out.
Which is
And
weird
she,
because she's been around. She's been around a long time, and
mhm,
she has management now. It's one of those like, when will she get it? You know what I mean?
yeah, and I think it's just like um, she did a lot of prep work watching movies, and that
Hmm.
was a big like focus previously. But now it is so much the play of the game that you need
Hmm.
to kind of like. There's no game tape on Marisol, but you definitely could have watched game tape on the Schmoedown.
Yeah,
Anyone can
exactly.
study the Schmoedown by watching any match.
Yeah, because when you go into the second round, you've had matches in your belts. Like, oh, is this the one I can steal in?
Hmm.
Yeah, I think you might need to study a little more.
Yeah, and so she doesn't use multiple choice at all, and she hits two of her four questions and gives up 4 points to Marisol,
Oof.
and that was very rough, and
Hmm.
that leads into like some almost TKO territory. 17-10 after round two,
Yeah, that's
and
pretty harsh.
yeah, yeah. And in round three, Bonnie, and I think if she knew her game and she asked for a repeat, I think she hits that 3 pointer because I think she
Hmm.
knew it like from watching like, and she hits her two, she hits her five, she ties the game 17-17. And
Yeah,
Marisol answers her 2 point question to put the game away.
yeah,
And
pretty much a layup. Just
yeah,
it's over.
she takes her time with it, but
Yeah,
she answers it very confidently. I don't think she was gonna miss it.
no, definitely not.
and and I don't think she was gonna miss 3 questions in a row. She played one hell of a game for a rookie player.
Yeah, no
Um,
kidding.
like 19 points. Like if she answers her three and her five, that's like
27.
26 points. That's yeah,
27.
27
Yeah,
points is one hell of a game for a singles competitor.
yeah, no
And
kidding.
I can see her going toe to toe with Paulo Yama in her first round matchup,
Yeah,
which none of these play-in rounds get a nice opponent. Well, I guess whoever plays William Bibiani gets a nice opponent, but they don't
yeah,
get a nice
yeah,
matchup.
yeah. They get to go against the human Muppet. Um, yeah. Well, that's the thing about the singles tournament too. Like, you've got such top tier talent. Like, it's gonna be hard.
Mm. And yeah,
Yeah.
so corruption picks up 2 points in that match, not three, which they were close to, but Bonnie hits
Hmm.
a hell of a 5 point question too, which I
Yeah.
did
No
mention
kidding.
earlier this episode and should mention again. Like that was a well fought like third round. She really,
Yeah.
yeah, she really tried in the end, but she was just a little too far behind at that point, I think.
Yeah. Pretty much. Like, you could definitely tell that she did some studying, but it just wasn't
Mm.
enough. Yeah.
And yeah, I Christian mentioned like maybe some teams matches next season, and I think she
That'd be a
would
good
be a
idea.
very good teammate. Like
Yeah.
uh, being an actress for that long, like you know a lot about movies. You just need to somehow pull that knowledge and put it to use.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
That wouldn't be a bad idea
corruption
seeing
picks
her
up
in
two
teams.
points and moves. Corruption moves to first place in the standings with 32 points.
Yeah, man. Wow.
And it is a race.
Yes, it is.
Corruption
It
has
really is.
4 players in the first round of the tournament.
Yeah.
Swag's down to three, and the Burning Troops are down to three.
Yeah. And what about Finstock Exchange? How many do they have in the first round?
They still have all four, but the potential for only three. If Dan retains, Roca drops into the left side. Sabrina Ramirez could win or lose her play in, and
Yeah.
they could potentially lose a player in the play-ins. That'll be next Wednesday's match,
Yeah,
which is next Wednesday is insane, especially if you're like the lowest of the patron tiers gets the match on that Wednesday.
yeah.
And then it's also a scheduled match for next week. And on top of that, they're throwing in an extra play in. You could potentially watch 4 matches in a single day. And
Ugh.
just, yeah, Chandru versus Smets, Final Exam versus Pride,
Yeah.
uh, maybe Sabrina or Jen Kemp versus Vinny Mancuso, and then top it off with the match that airs that day.
Oh
So
man,
take next
it's
Wednesday off, folks.
yeah, no kidding. It's honestly for a Schmoedown fan that this season has conveniently tripped itself into just an abundance of riches here.
Mm.
The amount of
August
quality stuff we're
August
getting. Yeah.
has been the month of like the year. Like I think we should just, I don't know, we need to uh we need to like create something of one of the awards that we can give to just August.
Yeah,
Because
no,
there were
no
6
kidding.
matches a week, like 4 matches of the tournament,
Yeah.
and a double header pay-per-view every single Friday for like 3 solid weeks. It's insane.
Yeah, this month out of if you were to look at every month that's ever happened in Schmoedown, this has to
Mm.
be the best month that there
I'm
has been just for everything we've gotten.
Yeah. And if you think about it, their filming schedule must look like the NHL bubble right now. Like
Yeah, no kidding. And that's one thing I was thinking about in the shower, which is where I do most of my thinking. Like
thinking.
before shut up. No, it's just because one of the biggest complaints that Harloff has said is that they only ever had the studio for one day, so they had to cram as much in as possible. But now that everyone's doing it from home, it must make, like, yes, they're giving us a lot of content, but it also must make it easier to do recording because you don't feel as rushed as you would if you were doing this in the studio.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, everybody seems very laid back, like, because I mean, everybody gets to compete from the comfort of their own home, and they can literally set the perfect climate for competition,
Yeah,
whatever to their like comfort level.
they could do like what I'm doing right now and play in their underwear.
Mm. So yeah, let's do this. We
Yeah,
both have John Roca going in. So
yep.
James White versus John Roca. Who advances to round 2?
Oh, come on, the outlaw.
I don't know. James
Oh,
was
really?
picked 2 rounds before John Roca. No,
Oh, that's
I'm
true.
kidding. I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
I know. But hey, at least with Roca, it fits this.
Yeah, the I mean the stats favor Roca.
Of
He's
course.
a legend,
Yeah.
but I'd love to see some crazy upsets in this tournament. And James White seems like a great competitor and a great guy, honestly.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice to have him stick around. And the Den needs more points. The Finstock Exchange, not so much.
Yeah, it's true.
And yeah, then we got Marisol versus Paulo Yama. What's
Um,
your prediction?
Slight edge to Paul, but it's gonna go to the last question. I
I
think,
think so.
yeah, I think
I
Marisol's gonna give Paul a run for his money.
it seems that corruption has really rallied this year, and
Yeah.
much like Swag, and it seems like some of the factions have a much more dedicated, like, kind of group chat going between their competitors,
Mm-hmm.
and then uh, the big factions, which I still contend that uh, Winston and Shannon are the 2 in the race for manager of the year, and
Oh, hands
Peachy
down.
is a soft third. Like
Yeah.
he he can pick it up in the singles because he's got some of the biggest legends in the game playing, and
Yeah.
he could have. But I don't know. Does
Yeah, I say I'm still on the camp that it's Winston's award to lose, just because he's been more consistent. As the corruption, they've only become hot recently.
mhm.
So
And yes, to be fair, they were playing their like less seasoned competitors compared to like Final Exam came out first and
yeah,
Yama, who didn't have a great match either, but I mean he actually had a pretty great match. He just didn't
yeah,
win it.
hmm
Um and yeah, like I think they can go back and forth. Like you Winston's consistency versus Shannon's like character consistency,
yeah,
especially from like day one at the draft, like the many variables that go into the argument. Uh
yeah. No kidding. She's definitely in like the top of like
yeah,
character work in the Schmoedown, hands down.
yeah. And I'd be voting for corruption, but you know, if Winston wins it, whatever.
Yeah, yeah. If either of
He's
them were
been
to, if
doing
either one,
so good.
if either one wins, I'm fine with it.
Yeah. And I mean, the 10 could sneak up there too because Kate's character is great, and if they can pull some points out, which mm, I'm I'm not I'm not sure if they do. Uh, I mean,
Yeah,
James White having an unfavorable matchup, and I'm very worried for Tom playing Tim Franco,
hmm
the two beasts of the first round. Oh, that's
yeah,
going to be a Bibiani versus Andreyko. Like,
yeah. It
they're
definitely has the
they're both
potential to
going to
be.
go double perfect round
Yeah,
for, well, it won't be the first time in the Schmoedown, but
it'll be the latest.
yeah, it's that was a great moment. I
It really
believe it's
was.
on the Clips channel, which the Schmoedown Clips channel. If you're not subscribed, you probably should go there. 10,000
Oh,
subscribers gets the John Roca doc released to the public, which you want to see. I've
yes.
actually not finished it. I forgot.
Really?
Yeah, I was watching it at a Tim Hortons, and then
How
my buddy showed
Canadian of
up,
you.
like pick me up, and
Yeah.
then so I paused it like halfway through, and then I lost it in the Patreon feed. You know.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
it's a great doc.
yeah,
Here's hoping it does get released because it's worth a watch. It shows just how talented the crew that works on the Schmoedown is to produce a doc of that quality.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
and I guess if we got a couple more minutes here, we could talk about tomorrow's matches,
Yeah.
which is the next throwdown. We have we have Dan Murrell finally defending his championship against
Yeah.
big time Ethan Irwin,
Round
and
match number two. No, match number three.
match number three. Yeah,
Yeah.
both of them have a win.
Yeah.
Uh, Irwin TKO'd Dan in a singles tournament, and
Yep.
then Dan beat Irwin in New York at the beginning of season 6 to take his third singles title,
Yeah,
and
and oof.
proving that in the new era of the Schmoedown, he is still championship caliber. And
hmm
that was a very, very great moment.
Oh yeah.
Um,
When he after he won the match and like the crowd was chanting.
yeah,
Yeah, like you could tell it
I
moved him, and it was definitely that's what I
mm,
love about the Schmoedown community is we show our love and we show it very very strongly.
yeah, and especially those live shows. Like,
Oh yeah,
obviously, in any open forum, there is going to be a lot of toxicity and negativity,
mm,
but like the live shows show something very different, which is a truly dedicated fan base that
yeah,
loves every competitor, whether they boo or cheer for them.
yeah. Now let's just bring those damn live events to Canada, please.
Mm. And also, so that let's see, that could uh, give the Finstock Exchange the lead again if
Yeah,
Dan retains his title, because that's a 3-point match. And if he loses it, they'll stay in third, and Swag has a chance to jump into first as Well, they could be tied for first at the end of tomorrow night because
Oh wow.
Final Exam goes up against Shazam.
Yeah. Oh
Although
yeah.
the Quirky Mercs could throw a wrench into that because while Final Exam has been on a great run, and I think they are as championship caliber team as any other team, um, I think Shazam is very, very tough. And uh, even though they haven't played since literally the first match of the year,
Hmm.
uh, and they played in singles, not in teams, their recent interviews have showed that they've stayed uh, with each other and focused and studying and always getting better. And
Yeah.
it's it's going to be Final Exam's final test. And I think if they can get through Shazam, they might be the team champions.
For sure, I'm gonna give the edge to Final Exam just because they have this is their third match in 3 weeks. They're riding
Mm-hmm.
that momentum, and like you said, Shazam really hasn't done much since the beginning of the season. So I think that is gonna play into Final Exam's favor.
True, but I also think that while like the Quirky Mercs, especially as I was talking about earlier, seem like one of those factions that have a very tight knit group,
Mm.
and um, much like the dungeon, I'm sure they have many a mock match back and
Oh,
forth,
probably.
and uh, I wonder how many times the whatever team they assemble to face Shazam takes them down. I'd actually be curious to know that.
Yeah, yeah, me too. But I think
I mean,
that's gonna be one that
there's definitely a combination in that faction that, with the right
for
questions,
sure.
they do beat Shazam. I mean,
Yeah,
uh, you can only say with certainty 9 times out of 10, right? When you're
yeah,
talking about a very dominant team, they
yeah,
win 9 times out of 10,
yeah.
never 10 times out of 10.
All you need is that one loss, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
Never,
so is
never tell us the odds.
yeah, exactly, exactly. So is there anything else you wanted to discuss?
Not particularly. We covered the two matches. Oh, I did want to discuss one thing from the
Okay.
previous match. I wasn't on that episode, but I do believe that the coyote should be spelled with a K because it's corruption, and it would be
Uh,
KO.
I see what you're
and
doing there.
I did like steal that joke from someone in a comment section somewhere, but I cannot remember their name. I wish I had written it down so I
Ah,
could credit them.
screw it.
But
You said it. You said it on camera, so it goes. The credit goes to you.
oh no, credit to whoever
Yeah.
made me think of that, and I firmly agree with them.
Well, fair enough. All right.
And
So,
I mean, maybe he gets the upgrade eventually.
hey,
Maybe he
yeah,
has to
maybe,
earn it, and maybe he already has.
maybe, maybe. All right. So with that, Daniel, where can everybody find you?
You can find me around our Facebook page at Schmoes of the North, and be sure to join our group and like our Facebook page and our YouTube page as well, that you're going to plug in a second here.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. Click and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are up to currently 80 subscribers. We would definitely like to hit that magic 3-digit number.
Ah,
Hopefully sooner rather
yes.
than later. Yeah, the 100 is the way to go. So definitely do that. Check us out. Like, share, what have you. Spread the word. Because you know what? We want to take podcasts of the year. I'm just gonna say that right now. We want it. So yeah, do that. Like Daniel said, join the Facebook group, join the conversation there. Always some great fun. You can find me at soda underscore the underscore saxman across all platforms. You can find me doing stuff with the Media Sweaties network over there, helping to promote all of our favorite content creators and what have you. Yeah, so that's pretty much where you can find me. And thank you very much, Dan, again for joining me on this one. We're gonna have some more content coming up pretty darn quick because, like I said earlier, there's a lot of matches going on. So yeah, click subscribe to the Schmoes of the North, and we will see you guys later.
Take it easy.